Hello and welcome to Following on Ash's Inquest. I'm Jon Norman alongside Steve Harmison. You're watching us on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel, or you're listening to us on talkSPORT 2, or you are catching up and listening to us on the Following On podcast feed. However you're listening, welcome. Steve Harmison, how on earth has Jacob Bethell never scored a first-class century before today?
Because he's not played.
He has played.
He's not played he's not played a great deal of cricket in the role that he's in a position to get first class hundreds. He's batted 6 and 7 and 8. He's actually 6, 7 and 8 for Warwickshire. So he hasn't always been in a position to get a first class hundred. So when everybody's making that noise about him, he hasn't batted 3 for Warwickshire or in first class Lions games or any games really. He's been thrust into the cauldron of 3 in New Zealand. He's been backed like Ollie Pope's been backed, like Zach Crawley's been backed, like Shoaib Bashir's been backed. But there's something different. Even when we seen him in New Zealand, there was an air of calmness. The shot selection that he's got, his ability to have time in the middle. When you see a player, you know a player. And I think the one thing that a lot of people have talked about who have played the game of cricket or have coached the game at the highest level, they go, there's a player there. Definitely there's a player there. And now it's about giving them the right chance and the right time and the right tools. I'm not sure the right chance and the right tools was no first-class hundreds. There you go, MCG, 99,000, and bat at number 3 against Stark, Boland and co. But do you know what? It was brilliant today. It really was. It was absolutely fantastic. And it wasn't the way that everybody expects this team to play. He batted more like Joe Root did in the first innings than the way traditionally this team's playing. So, I mean, so pleased for him. We can now stop talking about Root getting hundreds in Australia. We can now stop talking about adult hundreds for Jacob Bethell. This is not going to be his last Test match 100. He's not. I don't think he is a number 3, but one thing he is, he can find his way in the side now off the back of a brilliant 100 in Sydney.
Well, there's no space in the team for him outside of 3, but I do get your point. Yeah. 2 things that I picked up on thanks to Alistair Cook. It's Alistair Cook, and you mentioned it as well. Time. He just seems to have time. His celebration, or lack of, I thought his celebration upon reaching 3 figures, when you consider, what was he, in the 90s for 23 balls? He batted out a maiden. Slightly strange captaincy from Steve Smith at times in that evening session, I thought. Taking Scott Boland off with Bethell on 99 was interesting, but I mean, we spoke about him before. We spoke about him in New Zealand. We spoke about him after that very first innings we saw, and I think he only made 9. I might have it in my book here, actually. There was just something about him. He shaped up well. He knows his scoring areas. That was one of the questions Cook was asking, and you were asking as well. Does he know where he's going to be scoring? But you only have to see a couple of shots, and it's not just in red ball cricket, is it? It's also white ball cricket. There is a touch of quality about him. And thankfully, Harmy, because I think it was in the last Test match, we were saying that not one England player will be coming out of this series with his reputation enhanced. But Jacob Bethell has. I think Jofra Archer has. And Josh Tongue. So that's 3.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I think to finish on Bethell, I think his ability to sort of let the ball come to him and play the ball right under his nose is a great quality to have as a number 3, especially in England, Australia and the Southern Hemisphere. Maybe you can access the ball a little bit further away from your body because it doesn't move as much. But in New Zealand, you could just see there's a talent there. I think the air of calmness. I think his upbringing and his sort of lifestyle in Barbados, which only listening to Justin Langer just a second ago and talking about his ability to play off the back foot and learning how to play off the back foot. Jacob says himself he had to learn to play off the back foot because he was tiny. And the bounce of the ball, I think that will stand him in good stead at batting number 3. I say especially in England when it moves. But when you're talking about enhancing reputations, yeah, I think you're spot on there. I don't think we can put Bryden Carse. You can't put Bryden Carse into that category. But what we can say is it's a good job we had him, because we're watching Ben Stokes, and we'll talk about him in a minute. You watch Ben Stokes come off injured. I mean, Bryden Carse is the only one. It's another tick in the negative box of the preparation to getting England in a position to play 5 Test matches. That it's a good job Bryden Carse was in a position to play all 5 Test matches. In every conversation we've had in the middle of the night talking about why Stokes has gone and continuously gone to Carse is because he trusts him. He knows that his body's durable. He knows he's going to be fit. He knows he's going to run in and give him everything. And that, unfortunately, hasn't been for everybody that's been on that tour for England. So I don't think Carse has enhanced his reputation, but I think we can't be too critical of his performance as much, because if we didn't have him, we wouldn't have many other options. And Ben Stokes going down today just proves that, how much we've had to push the captain to the limits to get him, he have to stay in the series, because at the end of the day, Ben Stokes' bowling has been the only shining light from the bowling point of view, because yes, Archer has come away this positively, but at the end of the day, I mean, he's not there anymore. He's only played 3 Test matches, and I think if we had the conversation before the start, we said Archer would have went home, Wood would have went home. If Tongue had played more than 3 Test matches, probably would have went home. Atkinson's body wasn't the greatest, so I think we were expecting injuries. So yeah, and we've now lost the captain.
Let's hear from Bethell. And Australia had the same problem, right? Because Hazelwood didn't play any. Cummins only played 1. I mean, it's a miracle Stark's still going. And credit to Boland as well. Cricket, international cricket, just asks way too much of players in these 5 Test series these days. They either play too much cricket or not enough. Anyway, let's hear from Jacob Bethell, who spoke with TNT following his century today.
Still hasn't really sunk in and stuff like that, but yeah, to have the family here and watching was pretty special.
It's a great moment seeing your mum and dad and your sister.
Sister and her husband.
Yeah, really cool to watch that. Did you know, obviously knew where they were?
Yeah.
And were you every now and then having a quick look up to see how they were going? Because your old man was having a heart attack.
Yeah. It's a bit out of eye line. But yeah, I'm sure they would have enjoyed. I think my old man would have probably held off the beers for a few hours there. But yeah, hopefully we'll be having a couple tonight.
Well, I liked his reaction at 50. He gave you a little applause, but he didn't stand up. He thought his job was half done.
Yeah.
He looked a brilliant poker player until the 90s, where he went through all the emotions like everyone probably at the ground. How are you feeling in those moments?
I was feeling okay, to be honest. Throughout the innings, all
Is that honest? You can say you're nervous.
A little bit nervous. Nowhere near as nervous as I was in New Zealand when I forgot to watch the ball and go out. So yeah, all I was focusing on, to be honest, was doing what I was doing throughout the innings, which was watching the ball and just playing it. But yeah, it was. I don't know, something about cricket is weird. You're batting like that, and then they bring the field up, and you're on 99, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh. But what's the difference between 1 run? But yeah, it was lovely to get over the.
Quite a big difference.
I know. It's a massive difference.
That's why we all get so nervous. And I think there's more people. You look so calm. When you got 100, you look calm. I'm sure there was butterflies, but we're saying before, I think everyone in the stadium, all around Australia, and of course in England, were more nervous than you were. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the case, isn't it? Like, actually, when you're out there, you're okay, but everyone else that has no control over it kind of feels it more than you do, which I think was very much the case.
Just on your red ball cricket, obviously you have played a lot more white ball cricket and probably felt more at home playing it. Does this not just give you the most amount of confidence, thinking if you can play in these conditions, and we're comparing like Joe Root, what a player, he was battling away and actually you made it look easier than Joe Root today. Does that just think that is the blueprint of how I'm playing my red ball cricket forever?
Yeah, definitely. I think the blueprint there is that probably in terms of these conditions. Obviously conditions will change throughout when we go back to England and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I found a real nice kind of zone in terms of scoring and always being able to kind of throw a punch here without actually taking too much risk, which is pretty good. But yeah, I think definitely that will give me the world of confidence now, especially people who stop talking about it and all that kind of stuff.
And I go back to that last question before about your ability to play off the back foot, because you do play a lot of white ball cricket. In your upbringing, did you get to play a lot of pull shots and hook shots, and then Stark, you were ducking and weaving? It was awesome to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I faced the ball on the front foot until I was about 15, because I was that small. I was only about that big. And especially growing up in Barbados, I didn't really get too much. I got a lot of chin music, especially in the nets. So yeah, I kind of learned that naturally growing up over there. But then yeah, front foot game and kind of the power that I kind of have is only came to me when I got a bit bigger, when I was 15, 16. So yeah, I did have to play off the back foot a lot, and then now obviously can play off the front foot too.
Trickiest bowler that you faced out there today?
It's got to be Boland. He just puts a little tea towel down there and just goes bang. So yeah, he's tricky. But yeah, it's one of them that you kind of got to negate as much as you can, but while not taking too much risk. So yeah, I think I did that pretty well against him today, and was able to kind of score off the other guys.
Oh, what a brilliant interview. Well done, Jacob Bethell. Well done, TNT, for that. It's interesting, isn't it? Because we were out in New Zealand and he was out for 96 trying to, I can't remember, he was bowling Southie, I think. And, you know, the comment that came out of the dressing room was that, you know, when Bethell went in and McCullum spoke to him about, you know, how close he came to 100, Bethell had said, I just thought, how cool would it be if I just smacked him for 6 to reach 100? But actually, that wasn't true, was it? I mean, I'm sure it would have been cool, but he just said then he was nervous. And that is the thing. You know, they are nervous. They are nervous out there, despite, you know, all of the noise and all of the positive vibe mantra. Not that I'm diminishing, you know, a coach trying to take that pressure off and trying to make his team less nervous. I do get that. But compare and contrast the way that Jacob Bethell went about his innings and then what happened straight after Harry Brook was out. And Harry Brook could have been out 3 times in the over before his dismissal. And Alistair Cook, again, was just not having it. You know, I think it was Justin Langer. No, Jason Gillespie was on comms as well. And they both made the point that Harry Brook doesn't have to rely on luck to score runs. It was a very good way of putting it. He outside edged it. I think it probably would have gone over second slip if there had been one. But and then he'd backed away and tried to almost, I don't know what he was trying to do. It was a similar shot to how he got out in the first innings. But it was to a fast bowler. And, you know, they're saying, what are you doing? Anyway, next over, he's out. And, you know, and he was actually playing defensively. 2 balls later, Wooljack's holes out. Now, as we stand here or sit here right now, and we don't know anything at the moment, but the big conversation that we were having and I was having with Cameron Ponsonby was, with Wooljack's promoted above Jamie Smith because Stokes is injured, was he sent out to play like that, or was it just a brain fade?
I think he was sent out to play like that. That's what worries. That's the worrying thing for me. I've just got this horrible feeling he was sent out to go, right, let's get Webster. If he's going to bowl and he is going to take, because you mentioned earlier about Scott Boland. I think Australia looked tired. Scott Boland looked tired towards the end of the day and right at the very end of the day. And I just wonder if England's management team have gone, right, take Webster up. Go and take Webster down. Go and get 20 in an over. Go and hit him for, if he's going to bowl 2 overs at you, take him for 30. Take him for 32. Just get him for a couple of 6s and go for him. Now, I don't mind that plan, but give yourself a chance. Don't do it. I mean, don't do it second ball. Give yourself a chance. You know, give yourself an over to have a look and see where, if it is spinning, if it's not spinning, if it's bouncing. Yeah, this kid is releasing it from 2 meters tall. Basketball player is Bo Webster. And I mean, that was as bad as what Jamie Smith's was yesterday. It really was. And it looks worse now. Now England are 119 in front. And you're thinking, right, what could have been if he comes in and if he had a sort of battered with Jacob Bethell and England could sort of get to 150, 170 in front. And like Bethell said, 200 could be the magic number. So it worries me again that another tick in the negative box of this management, that if they're sending him out, and it's a gamble, it's a punter. Brendan McCullum talks about he is a gambler, and I just think he threw his last chip at the roulette wheel and just gone, there you go, let's have another go. And I mean, it's hard. We're having a go at Will Jacks, and it was a poor shot. It was everything about it was just wrong.
Well, we're not sure if we're having a go at Will Jacks, are we?
Yeah, that's the thing. Are we having a go at Will Jacks? Or are we having a go at the management again to say, is this? Because we don't know exactly what happened. I don't think we'll ever find out. The Harry Brook one, I mean, 32 test matches or 34 test matches in, is Harry Brook still trying to find his 100% identity of a game that he's got? Because the one I see at the minute, which is 95% brilliant, is still making that 5% mistakes, them big mistakes, which is costing him his wickets. You know, the times he's got big runs, he's been dropped a few times. That's not his fault, but he's gone on and cashed in. But if you happen to get dropped 2 or 3 times to make hundreds, and every now and again just having a complete brain fret in the middle of an innings, then you're not going to be a world-class player. But you so much are Harry Brook. And until, I'm not sure whether it's somebody sits with him, chats to him, talks about how you become that world-class 100% batter. Because at the minute, he's averaging 50, and 5% of the time, 10% of the time, he's making a mistake per innings, which is costing him his wicket. And it's a mistake which can easily be alleviated just by a little bit of common sense and having a bit of sort of calm and thought in that moment when potentially the person on your shoulder is telling you we're in a bit of a tricky situation here. Let's just then take some time, give ourselves he's on top. Let's just withstand this bit of pressure in Test match cricket, because in 5 or 6 overs time, he's going to be knackered. Another bowler's going to come on. I'll cash in then. It just seems as though that this minute in time, 100% innings, 100% of a game plan is not there for Harry Brook. 95% of it is, and it's brilliant. But unfortunately, that 5% is letting him down at this moment in time, and he's getting out in 30s and 40s, and he's putting pressure on himself.
Here's a question for you. I actually forgot to ask it. Just very simple, yes or no, right? 2006-07, Alistair Cook hit a century in Australia in a losing cause, right? 2013-14, Ben Stokes did the same thing. We both know the careers that those two players went on to have and are still having with Stokes. Will Bethell's name stand up alongside those two in 10 years' time?
That is such a difficult question to give a yes or no answer to.
Well, that's the question.
I'll say yes, but and it's a massive, but there are massive buts, because
it's about the quality that do you see in Bethell the same quality that
I see there's a player there.
But is it up there with what we saw from Cook and Stokes very early on?
The first time I saw Stokes, I thought there's a player here. The first time I saw Cook, there's a player here, and Bethell exactly the same when we seen him in New Zealand for the first time.
So you're saying yes?
Yes, but what they did, they worked out the game very, very quickly. And listening to Jacob's interview there and the way he played in this innings compared to the way he's played in the last few innings, encourages me that there is a chance that yes will be in capital letters. But you never know in predicting the future of players. He's given himself a good chance and a good start. Do I think that he's got the ceiling level of a great player? Yes, I do. I think he has, and I think we've all thought that. But then now it's up to him to go and prove it. Like we just said about Harry Brook, I think exactly the same about Harry Brook. But 5% of the time per innings, he's letting himself down, and it's costing him his wicket, and it's costing England. It's potentially costing England games when he's not being ruthless enough to cash in.
Before,
So, yeah, I do think there's a bright future there, but it's up to Jacob to work that one out and whether he can get to the levels of the likes of Stokes and Sir Alistair Cook.
Before the series, and Jared is very strong on this, we raised the point that the two most important batters in terms of where this series was going to go was Harry Brook and Travis Head. And it's true. That is exactly what's happened. But one's done well and one hasn't. Both have batted in all 5 test matches. Head's batted in 1 innings less. Both going at strike rates of plus 80. 81 for Brook and 87 for Head. Only Ben Duckett has got a strike rate in excess of 90. And there the similarities end. Harry Brook is actually the 3rd highest scorer in the series, which at the start of the series you'd think would mean that we, both had a very successful series, right?
Right.
But of course, Travis Head has scored 3 centuries from his 9 innings, and Harry Brook has scored 2 50s from his 10. Harry Brook has an average of 39, and that's it now. And Travis Head has an average of 66. Now, when you talk about Harry Brook having to modify the way he goes about his innings and construction and all the rest of it, and the player that we normally describe as who he should learn from is someone like Joe Root. But of course, he's never going to really be like Joe Root, is he? But he can be like Travis Head. So what is it? And Travis Head had his own struggles at the start of his career, and he's come back strong, and few would have seen him achieve the success over such a long period of time for Australia that he has experienced. But what is it about Head's game that maybe Brook could look at and think, okay, I'm never going to be like Joe Root, but I am like Travis Head. What is Travis Head doing that Harry Brook isn't?
Well,
apart from getting dropped a lot.
Yeah, Travis Head's got the plan that Travis Head. I seen an interview with Travis Head yesterday or the day before, and he talked about batting, and he was talking about the short ball tactic that was coming, and he said that Potts was easier to face because of the trajectory and the pace on it. Talked about how the risk element of taking on Josh Tongue was a little bit more because of the bounce and everything that goes well. Travis Head was a little bit like Joe Root was talking about batting to Sir Alistair Cook and Justin Langer. There's a plan there. There's a method there. There's a where we try and alleviate risk. There's an area where we're trying to score, and we are fluctuating my risk taking through where the bowlers are at that minute in time, whether they're a bit tired, whether they're on top, whether they're going through a decent spell and I have to respect them. So there is a method in the way Travis is going. I think Harry Brook, unfortunately, like I've been saying, I think Harry Brook goes out there with a determined plan before the inning starts and goes, I'm going to hit the ball there. I'm going to hit the ball there. I'm going to hit the ball there. As opposed to, well, no, you don't hit the ball there because you don't know where the ball's coming to. I think he gets in a position where once he gets in, and you know what? He gets in quicker than anybody else I've seen. He really does. I mean, you've seen how many times he hits a second or a third ball for 4 just with ease and nonchalance through extra cover. You go, wow, he's just come into the crease. He looks in great touch. And then it just seems as though when he gets on top, that's when he's dangerous to himself because he then starts to think, I'm going to hit the ball where I want to hit the ball as opposed to where the ball's actually being bowled to him in the areas that the bowler's trying to target because the bowler's potentially going to plan B and plan C. Where I think that's something that Harry needs to get better. And if he does, I mean, we're talking about a kid who's averaging over 50, but it's coming that way at this moment in time. He shouldn't be coming that way. 35 test matches, it should be going that way. And if it does go that way, I mean, we know what a player he is. I'm being picky here with Harry Brook because you have just mentioned the numbers there. He's had 1 single figure score. He's had a couple of 10s and 20s. But he's had a lot of 30s and 40s. He had 2 50s in a series in Australia where you need him to be that score of 200s, 300s to stand a chance of winning. when you're batting at number 5 for England in an Ashes series. So these are the little things I think needs to be ironed out in his game. And I don't think it's technical. I don't think anything that Harry Brook's got an issue with is technical. I think it's all about in his mind and how he gets through that 40 to 60. Because once he gets past that, he's so destructive and it's brilliant to watch. But at this minute in time, he seems as though he's got a plan as where he wants to hit the ball, as opposed to got predetermined plan on where he wants to hit the ball, as opposed to letting the ball come to him and respecting a bowler might have a good passage of play and then waiting for him to get tired and then him imposing himself on the opposition. That's where I see, unfortunately, where Harry's having a little bit of an issue at this moment in time, and Head's not.
Harmy, we're gonna have to wrap things up, but very, very quickly, do England have any chance of winning this game tomorrow? Obviously, they do have a chance of winning this game, but Stokes is unlikely to bowl. They might be able to set Australia 160, but do you think that you play that game 20 times? How many times did England win? How do you see it happening? How do you see it playing out on day 5?
Yeah, I think at this moment in time that pitch still looks good. It still looks quite flat. So for me, England win it maybe once or twice out of 20. The shorter it sounds stupid, and I'm very good at them. The shorter the game, the better England have got a chance. If it goes and England have to use bowlers into their third and fourth spell, Australia will grind them down. But because it's all or nothing, because it's your last one big effort in Australia, 160, we are going to be on the field for 40 overs, max to bowl Australia out. Stokes is a blow, but it's not a huge blow when it comes to we've got all day to bowl Australia out. I think, 2 spells from each bowler, given everything they've got, might not be a bad thing for England to have a chance. They'll need 160 plus. And by that time, we could have a few more cracks open up on a hot day. But they've got a puncher's chance. Australia, you still want to be in Australia's dressing room. But you never know. A bowler gets on a roll, gets the wind up, and the crowd behind them, they've still got a sniff.
Okay, well, we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be doing a 1-hour show, aren't we? We're going to be looking back at the events at the SCG, but also as a whole. I've just had a look at the batting stats, and it doesn't make for pretty reading. You have got a situation where, and we'll go into this tomorrow, so I'm not going to get your reaction to it now, Harmy, but you've got a situation where at the end of the series, England's opening bat, Zach Crawley, averages 27. The other opening bat, Ben Duckett, averaged 20. Their number 3, Ollie Pope, averaged less than 20 and was dropped. Their captain, Ben Stokes, averaged 18. And their number 7 in Jamie Smith averages 24. You do get the feeling that there is changes afoot. And we'll be discussing that and everything to do with this Ashes series tomorrow on Following On Ashes Inquest on talkSPORT 2, the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel, and on the Following On podcast feed.